Ethiopian Prime Minister passed controversial remarks about Assab port and Asmara, Eritrean capital, at a meeting on Wednesday. Welcome to my views and news. Thank you for watching, viewers. Good to be with you. I did a video last night. I told you about the meeting between the Prime Minister and Ethiopian political parties leaders. Now, gradually things are coming out, and the meeting should have been about internal political situation, but the Prime Minister talked about some controversial topics while addressing the political parties. What did he say? What he said, uh, did he say all that in good faith, or does he want to annex Eritrea, or does he want to annex parts of Eritrea? How to interpret the talk of the Prime Minister? What did he say about Assab? What did he say about Asmara? We know is that on Wednesday, the Prime Minister met with Ethiopian political parties leaders. Before that, he held meetings with business community, with others too. He has been holding such meetings in the past too. And after the meeting, the Prime Minister released a statement saying that he wants to develop, he wants to establish democratic environment in the country, and he sees opposition parties as legitimate competitors. He believes in consultation with the opposition. Though the party leaders which attended the meeting were those leaders who are pro-Ethiopian government, pro-prosperity party. Genuine opposition party leaders were not there. No one from TPLF, no one from OFC, no one from OLF, no one from ONLF, Abdirahman Made group. So people who were there, like Brano Naga, Blethemola, Gita Choreda, these people cannot be called genuine opposition politicians. They are friendly opposition parties, basically part of the government. You can say part of the Prosperity Party, part of the government. Not part of Prosperity Party officially, but they're supporting PP policies. I don't see it as a real contact between Ethiopian ruling party and opposition parties. I believe the Prime Minister of Ethiopia is deliberately keeping genuine opposition parties out of politics in Ethiopia. He wants to present these parties, which he is on good term with, as genuine opposition parties, which is not true. Anyway, what did he say about Assab? What did he say about Asmara? Well, he said, addressing the participants, he said that you should think big. Your ambition should be big. He's very fond of the corridor projects which he's building in Addis Ababa, in Amhara, in Oromia. People criticize him. People say that he's wasting resources. He should spend this money on other projects. In some cases, corridor projects are needed, especially in those areas where there are traffic issues, like in Addis Ababa. But in some areas, there is no need of such projects. But he's been spending a lot on resorts, on roads, on parks, on corridor projects. And this is what perhaps development means for him. He wants to show to the world, to those who visit Ethiopia, that he has transformed Ethiopia. So he always defends corridor projects. And he said, we should think big. We can build regional corridors too. We can build a corridor in Asmara too. First point. His second point, which he made about Assab, is alarming. He said, basically, he was saying we can develop. We are in a position to develop land, to develop cities, because we are working on projects like corridor projects, we can develop Assab too. Assab is like a desert island where no one is living. We will transform it, we'll change it, and more people will live there. Who invited the Ethiopian PM to transform Assab? Who invited Ethiopian PM to build a corridor project in Asmara? No one invited him. Rather, he's unwelcome. He's not welcome to build any projects in Eritrea. Eritrean government is not willing to even talk to Ethiopian PM, Ethiopian government about port issue. Eritrean government does not want to see any Ethiopian presence, military, civilian in Assab, in Asmara. So why is the Prime Minister keen to build a corridor in Asmara, and why is he keen to develop Assab? Well, there could be two reasons. Either the man wants a regional economic integration, and he believes that for prosperity, for development, for the people of both sides of Eritrea and Ethiopia, there should be integration, which did not happen. Either he wants integration in good faith. He's saying that we should integrate economically. We should connect Eritrea and Ethiopia geographically through roads, through corridor projects. We should jointly build ports like Assam. Either he means development, or he has his eyes on Eritrea. He wants to annex Assam. He thinks that he can annex territories in Eritrea, and borders are irrelevant. I see his remarks provocative. Why? Because Eritrean president, Ethiopian PM are not on speaking terms. Diplomatic exchange of activities almost non-existent. No meetings, no talks about strategic cooperation. The remarks by the Ethiopian Prime Minister are going to be they're not going to be received well in Eritrea. Eritrea would see these remarks as Ethiopian ambition to annex Eritrean territories. I can say that safely, that Eritrea is not going to welcome what Ethiopian PM said. Firstly. Secondly, there is no appetite in Eritrean ruling party to give Ethiopia an opportunity to work in Eritrea, work on corridor projects, work on Assab. No. Eritrean government does not trust PM Abiy's government. Eritrean government believes that the Ethiopian PM wants to annex Eritrean territories. The talk which Ethiopian PM Abiy delivered in 2023, at the end of 2023, where he tried to prove that Ethiopia had natural rights to access to sea, that talk actually exposed the fragility of relations between Eritrea and Ethiopia. So Eritrea is not going to be involved in any regional integration economic projects with Ethiopia. Why? Because there is deficit of trust. First of all, they should be building of trust. The two sides should respect each other, respect borders, and then they can talk about regional economic integration. Problem is that Ethiopian authorities are now openly claiming access to Assab as if it's their right. So how can Eritrea now allow Ethiopia to build a corridor project in Asmara or to invest in Assab? The remarks by the Ethiopian PM are not going to be well received in Eritrea. Firstly, the meeting was about internal political situation in Ethiopia. It wasn't about Asmara, it wasn't about Assab, it wasn't about foreign policy. the two sides, the Prime Minister and opposition party, should have talked about the political scene in Ethiopia. They should have talked about how to make the next election transparent. They should have talked about how to empower National Election Board of Ethiopia. They should have talked about how to ensure that election is free, fair, transparent, and level playing field is given to all the political parties. This is what should have been considered and what should have been the focus of talk in Addis Ababa yesterday. But the Prime Minister deliberately talked about Asmara and Assab. This is what he does, by the way. Sometimes he deliberately promotes agendas which he promotes to unite Ethiopians, to unite opposition parties behind his party, in support of his party. That is why sometimes he raises such agenda deliberately. Opposition parties there at the meeting are not genuine opposition parties, so they did not challenge the Ethiopian Prime Minister's talk. They should have called for ways to make the election free, fair, and transparent. But these opposition parties who attended the meeting yesterday, they are B parties, B teams of Prosperity Party. Nothing is expected from them. OFC, OLF, ONLF, TPLF, others will have to form a joint alliance and work towards making the next election transparent. Otherwise, we could see what we saw in 2021 when a controlled election was held and PP ran against PP almost unopposed. Thanks for watching.